Monsters Inc., a story about a society where the only sustainable energy source is the emotional trauma of children. But if we shift the perspective from the big blue kitty and his green one-eyed dodgeball friend, and instead focus on Waternoose,
well, Jerry, what's the damage so far?
then it becomes a story about how you would do anything to keep your generational company in business by any means necessary. But to understand that, let me just put you in his claws, shoes. He doesn't really wear shoes, does he? Either way, so imagine for a minute that you are Henry J. Waternoose, owner, CEO, and occasional mentor of Monsters Incorporated, a business that has spanned several hundred years since your grandfather, 300 years ago, Franklin T. Waternoose, was tinkering with some newfangled technology and was whisked away to some unknown land, a land that we now assume was probably current-day Ohio. Upon his return, though, he brought with him a monster never before seen, something fleshy and pink, but it was small and covered in these horrible sores. This pink fleshy monster cried out in agony and fear, and in doing so, all of the other technology that your grandfather was playing with came to life without the need of a turbine or an engine to power them. This remarkable gift kickstarted the Gilded Age of the Monsters, and your father refined this technology, and in doing so, energy became plentiful, and everyone in the monster world lived in relative luxury, with your family, the Waternooses, at the center of it, becoming the most powerful family in the world. Through the centuries, you have watched as monsters would risk life and limb to bring precious scream back to our society. Some even braved the human world to link fresh doors, but sometimes if they got a little bit too close to a child, they could come back with boils, sores, or all manner of ailments that killed hundreds, sometimes thousands, if they weren't quarantined in time. Entire villages were lost, and as a consequence, the CPA was formed. This did change progressively around about 50 years ago. These incidents slowly decreased until they almost stopped, but that didn't mean you didn't need to be careful. The CPA was always there, much to your dismay, but still, there was a far more worrying trend. Kids these days were getting progressively harder to scare, and only your best scarers, like James Sullivan, were even capable of meeting a quota. But, like the true monster that he is, even in this drought, James was capable of even breaking the all-time scare record. A feat, a marvel, a testament to his brilliance. If he was born just 20 years earlier, well, his ability would never be equaled. Not in 1,000 generations. And even his closest rival, Randall, is only getting similar numbers because of rather sinister methods. But you actually sort of see a kinship in him. You treat him almost like your own son, but he's also a bit of a Boy Scout, a do-gooder, incorruptible, but always trying to do what he can. But in today's day and age, that's just not enough. Sure, if everyone on the scare floor was a Sullivan, there'd probably be no issues, but they aren't. And when your top scarer is doing more than your bottom scarers combined, there's a big problem there. And this is when you turn to Randall. But he is an unscrupulous character. He had a vision, a world where, well, you didn't need a scare floor. In fact, scarers would be obsolete. His idea was kidnapping children and literally sucking the scare out of them. And I mean, even by monster standards, that's a bit extreme. But as it stands right now, you're not seeing another option. If things keep going the way that they are, this very company, maybe even the civilization itself, could crumble. And we'd need to return to less sustainable forms of energy, like oil. And considering everything is built for Scream, it's like starting from scratch. Randall did say something about kids receiving vaccinations, so those horrendous boil plagues are somewhat non-existent in the human world now, meaning that actually it is possible to take the kids into the monster world. His idea is reasonably possible. The thing is that your new recruits are just not up to the task, and this new generation is lazy, it's weak, and it's not really able to do what's necessary. And you just did that advert that only made recruiting actual talent even harder. In fact, now your caretakers are slugs, and they create more of a mess than they clean. Why is that allowed? And it is these very reasons that you have started to pivot, because you do wonder. You wonder if your company is going to fail, and right now as things are only going wrong, there is only a downward trajectory, and day by day Randall's plan is getting more and more appealing. In fact, that day you have your first incident in over a month. Luckily, it was just a human sock, hardly worth panicking over, but after the plague of 1925, where 17 sectors were unfortunately burned to the ground, the CPA has never just let a sock slide. It requires a immediate and diligent response. But this is a blessing. It does give you an opportunity to have a small chat with Sullivan without it being shoehorned in.
Hey, we're just going through a rough time, sir. Everyone knows you're going to get us through it. Tell that to the board of directors.
You invite him to come and teach the new recruits, because while Randall's plan could work, you want that to be the last resort. You would rather keep the honor and the integrity of your company intact. The old way, the traditional way, where scarers are people of honor and respect, not machines that suck the life out of children. So you go home that night, you're a bit anxious about what's going to happen next, but you're also kind of hopeful that tomorrow is going to be a better day. With Sullivan teaching the new recruits, maybe something good can come of this. That is, until you hear a pulse. The sounds of sirens and helicopters just completely take over the night. Something not good at all has just happened. And the next morning, the CPA is telling you that a kid escaped the facility the night before. Now, this is concerning. Could it have anything to do with Randall? He was trying to abduct a child yesterday, and all you can think about is all of the ways it could have gone wrong. But of course, you cannot reveal that you know anything, so you play dumb.
Safety is our #1 concern. Now, if there's anything that... No.
Luckily, a child saves you, and that child is the kid of Sullivan.
It's my cousin's sister's daughter, sir.
Which is just, frankly, music to your ears, because you can use this to avoid answering any questions that might, put you in the thick of it. You get to tell Sullivan to come to the simulator after lunch. This way you get the CPA off your back after lunch as well, which is, man, fuck those guys. And the CPA interrogation lasts all morning, and they are putting their fingers in everything. And also they keep you in your office, meaning you have no idea actually what's going on, especially with Randall and his minion. For all you know, there's a plague already starting. Luckily, you can break free after lunch and you go to the simulator.
You're trying to scare the kid, not lull it to sleep.
But you don't know if this is better or worse, to be honest, because either you're dealing with the current issues of the facility and a child escaping, or you're dealing with future issues where your next generation of scarers are completely incompetent. Either way, everything is looking bleak. And it seems that people are talking about some up-and-coming play. What?
Put that thing back where it came from, also help me.
When did this happen? Why? What? We're in the midst of a crisis and all people can talk about is a play. And at this point, it really does seem that only Randall's plan is worth pursuing, because everyone else seems to be completely useless. Thankfully, Sullivan comes in and does his role. And damn, he is good. Truly the GOAT. Hopefully, the newbies can see this and understand what it takes to be a scarer. Maybe this is the moment where things can finally resolve themselves. But then just when everyone's gone.
The child!
Sir.
He has the child, the human child. And, well, something really wrong has happened if your Boy Scout is doing this.
She isn't toxic. I know it sounds crazy.
Oh, that's actually good to know. If she's not toxic, then Randall's vaccination theory is maybe true. And if that's true, that's news you are very happy to see, because right now his plan is seeming even more palatable. If there's no risk of another plague, why not just create scream farms? It's just human children after all, who cares? They are nothing in the face of losing your company and your family's legacy. But still, this does mean that you need to exile these two.
I know.
Because realistically, you cannot have them causing a fuss here. The days of screamers are over. And Sully, well, he's gonna be a relic of a bygone era. Still, it hurts to see it go. 300 years of scare technology coming to an end because of, well, new technology. This is just progress. The winds of change. Where Scream changed the world, Scream Farms will do the same. But you do have regrets as you're putting that child down.
I never should have trusted you with this.
You imagine if that was a monster child, you almost feel remorseful. Well, at least with scaring, you're only creating a bit of trauma, but this is just wrong. But it is for the greater good of the company. You almost feel relief when you see Sullivan. But then it's replaced very quickly by abject fear.
Stop him!
Because if he's here, then there's a chance this is all over, because he will not let this slide. He will 100% let the CPA know of what's going on. Then they go off and do some magical journey with Randall.
Navigator, give me that shovel.
And you come up with your own plan. What you do is you tell the CPA that they are in on it instead. That way, well, you preempt the situation and then you come out on top. You can make it seem like this was all their idea. But these CPA fools, they don't pay attention. They get bamboozled by the oldest trick in the book. No one said that you had to be smart to work for the CPA. So you chase Sullivan down as he tries to use the simulation door to escape. Like as if that's gonna stop you. Like if you murder them here, you murder them there, it's not really that much of a difference, is it? You tell him you're probably going to kill him. Well, silence him.
Enough, James.
She's home now. Just leave her alone. I can't do that.
He's just coming at you with this morality thing. But the problem is like, you're in too deep. Like, sunk cost is ruling you.
I'll kidnap 1,000 children before I let this company die.
You can't back out now. It's over for you. If you don't follow this plan through to the end.
Silence anyone who gets in my way.
He is such a Boy Scout. He has no idea of the bigger picture. Sure, kidnapping children is pretty bad. But you know what else is bad? A gross profit contraction of 37% in a single quarter. You think kids' tears are bad? Try explaining a Scream crisis to the board of directors. Let alone the fact that the world as you know it is literally ended, propped up only by clever propaganda of the Monsters Incorporated machine. And without something drastic soon, it's all over. But you've been bamboozled. How did they set this up?
I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I spotted several big mistakes.
But how did...
Mike Wazowski was on the other side of the factory. How did he convince the CPA and set all of this up in the same time that you were chasing Sullivan? Huh? There is no... What? Your company is finished. Who's going to run it now? What's going to happen to all of the monster technology? We'd need to start from scratch. We don't even have the infrastructure to go back to oil or gas.
The energy crisis will only get worse because of you.
There's barely any Scream reserves to make that a reality. What are they gonna do? But a few months later, when, well, you're in prison, the lights never go out. Turns out, they found out if you make a kid laugh, they produced more energy than Scream. Huh. So now memes are the ultimate source of energy. Anyway, if you like the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing, because at 100,000 subscribers, I'm going to be cutting my hair and donating it to charity, as well as like maybe making a video about it, and then whatever money I make from that video, I will donate to charity as well. Anyway, I just want to shout out my members real quick, especially Jay, Alexander Coleman, and good old Granite. Thank you guys for your support. It really means the world to me. And of course, Lavender, Zyla, Mr. Ventura, Alyssa, Takaru, and Alan. Thank you guys. Have a great day and have a great life.